Okay, good. So everybody's able to see my screen. So in the last tutorial, what we talked about was we talked about the primitive data types that we have, like integer, boolean, float, etc. So today we are going to talk about if-else statements, how to write them. We'll talk about ternary operators, and we will talk about switch statements. And we're going to do a lot of examples today. So this is going to be a hands-on session. So we're going to do plenty of examples. And if you have any questions, I know there are hundreds of students have joined, so sometimes I might miss your chat. So when I'm saying, okay, send a message, then wait for a couple seconds before I can see other people's messages, and then do it slowly. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. So what is this Java if then statement? So sometimes what we have to do is we have to follow a certain path based on a certain condition. For example, in real life also, let's say, hey, I want if tomorrow is if it didn't rain tomorrow, then I might go out for a movie, right? So there is a condition that the rain is going to happen or rain is not going to happen, right? So when you wanted to do certain things based on an outcome, okay, if something is true, then I wanted to do this thing, and else if that thing doesn't look right, then I want to do something else. So those are called as if else statements, and a lot of time in our code we will write these kind of statements based on a business requirement. So the business requirement can be like, hey, is this a customer 21 years of age? If the answer to that is yes, then yes, he's allowed to drink, right? So that is a condition that you're asking for the age of the person. And if the age is greater than 21, then he's allowed to drink. So that is the if condition. And if that condition is true, then whatever you write inside of that if block, that those statements will get executed. And if you have a else block, it is not required always to have a else block with an if. You can have a standalone if as well. So just like in this case, you can see here there is a condition, okay, and then you have these block of code. So if there is multiple statements or multiple things that you want to do when the condition meets, then you write them inside of these curly braces. So curly braces is required if there are multiple statements, okay, if you want to execute. But if there is, let's say, only one statement, if you just want to print something and there's only one single statement you wanted to do, then you do not need these curly braces. Immediately whatever the statement is after the if condition, that becomes the part of the if condition, okay, that becomes the if block. Okay, so if there is only one single statement, then you do not need these curly braces. But it is always a good practice to have curly braces, because for our readability purpose, and also it's a good way of writing the code. Okay, even though it's not required to have the curly braces when there is only one single statement, but it is a good practice to have that. Okay. So this is what the if condition is. Means based on a certain condition, if you wanted to execute certain set of things, then you write a if condition, and you will only execute that if that condition is true. Otherwise, that block of code will not get executed. Okay, so that is what we have as the if condition. So let me go ahead and give you a simple example here. So we'll go back to our Eclipse, and in this, I'm going to write a new class. So right click here, new, oops, cancel, new, call it as a class, and I'll call this as if example. Okay, and I'm going to have a main method inside of it and hit the finish. So whenever you want to do certain things based on a condition, this is when you write a if condition. Okay, so let's say in your business requirement, if the amount of sale is greater than $2,000, then you will give them a 5% discount. Okay, so there's a condition. Your condition is to check what is the amount of the sales. If the amount of the sale exceeds that condition, it meets the condition, then you're going to give him a special discount. Otherwise, you won't give him a discount. Those kind of things. If it's a if the customer has a birthday today, then you might give a birthday discount to him. So those kind of things. So here inside of this, what I'm going to do is inside of my main method, I'm going to define a variable which is of the, you call it as age, that's the name of the variable, and the value of the variable is 20. Now my condition is I'm going to check if the age is greater than 18. Okay, if the age is greater than 18, then I'm going to provide these curly braces, system.out.println. I'm going to print this on screen, and I'll call it as he is greater than 18. Okay, so what happens is if the age is what, 20, 20 is greater than 18, true, this condition meets. So if this condition meets, this piece of code will get executed. So here I'm going to go ahead and run as Java application. You can see here he is greater than 18. But now if I change this age to, let's say, 12, then what happens is this condition no longer meets. The age is now, is 12 is greater than 18? No. So this condition doesn't meet. That means this block of code will not get executed. Okay. So if I go ahead and make sure you have saved the file, and then we are going to do run as Java application. So now in this case, since his age, okay, so you can see here on the console, nothing gets printed on the screen because the age is less than 18. Now, if I write anything outside of the if block, because we are writing outside of the if block, it is not part of the condition. So here I can just do a system.out on the screen. So here I can say system.out.println, I am outside the if block. And then here, so now in this case, what will get printed? This block will not get executed because the condition does not meet. So this line is the line number 11 is not dependent on this if condition. So this will get printed no matter what. So run as Java application. Now in this case, it is going to go ahead and give you an output saying I'm outside the if block. But now if you change it to 22, now in this case, the condition meets again. So this block of code will get executed, and this will get printed on the screen, and this is going to print as, because there's no dependency on the conditions. If I go ahead and run as, there will be two lines will be printed on the screen. He's greater than 18 and I'm outside the if block. Okay, so only if the condition meets. And since there is only single line, okay, so now this block of code is not necessary. So you don't have to have these braces. Okay, if I remove these braces, then by default, whatever the line which is next to the if block, whatever the line which is next to the if condition becomes automatically the part of the if condition. This line is not the part of the if condition, okay? But the next line, which is line number 8, automatically is a part of if condition. So those braces were not required. So now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, this was going to get printed. Now if I change this to, let's say, 5, the condition will no longer meet. So that if the condition doesn't meet, in this case, what's happening is this block of code will not get executed. Now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, only single line will get printed on the screen. So the next line automatically becomes part of the if condition. Now, if there are multiple lines, that's when this block of code will get handy, okay? So you can say it's greater than 18, and I can lace this out here, and I can say I can drive now. So this has also become part of the if condition. So these two are the if block. And always good to have some indentation so that it looks like neat. So this automatically becomes. So now if I go ahead and run as Java application, these two would become part of the if block. So those conditions did not meet. So this will, line number 12 is the only one which is going to get printed. If I change this to 35, now what's going to happen is this condition meets. So 3 lines will get printed on the screen. So this is what the purpose of the if condition is. So if you wanted to execute certain business logic based on a condition, not every time, but based on a condition, that's when you write the if block. Now, this is basically when you have certain things on a if condition, but what about if the condition does not meet? Then you want to do something else. So that's when the if else comes into picture. Okay, then the next thing we have is the if else. So in this case, if the condition meets, then the if block will get executed. If the condition does not meet, then the else block will get executed. So now you have a block which will get executed if the condition meets, and another block if the condition does not meet. Okay, so that is what, if it is going to rain, I'll go out and watch a movie. If it doesn't rain, okay, so if it rains, let's say, I will sit at home and watch a movie, and if it doesn't rain, then I'll go out and meet my friends. Okay, so that is the if else condition. So if you want to do certain things based on a condition, and you want to do certain other set of conditions based on if the condition doesn't meet, so that is when the if else block comes out handy. And let's go ahead and do an example related to the if else here. So let me just explain to you. So in this case, you have this test is equal, there is a variable that you have defined, which is of the type integer, and the value of the variable is 5. So you're checking if the 5 is greater than 10. So 5 is greater than 10? No, this condition does not meet. So in this case, oh, sorry, 5 is less than 10. This is the condition. So if 5 is less than 10, yes. So the condition means this block of code will only get executed. Okay, at a given time, only one of the block will get executed. Okay, either the if block or the else block. So in this case, test is less than 10, which is correct. This why this will get executed. Now, when the expression is false, okay, if 5 greater than 10, no, this is wrong. So in this case, the body of else will get executed. So that is the if else statement. Any questions? It's very straightforward. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, good. So now the next thing is let's do another example here. And the example is basically based on the if else condition. So here, what I'm going to say, I'm checking if a number is positive. Okay. So if the number is, let's say I have go ahead and do another example here, call is Java class, and if else example 1, I'm going to have a main method and hit the finish. So now inside of my main method, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable, and the value of the variable is 10. Now, if the number is greater than 0, that means sysout, it's going to be a positive number, right? System.out, it is a positive number. Else means if it is number is less than 0. Okay. Now, in this case, what's going to happen? It is a negative number. If it is greater than, or if it is less than. Let's enter a statement outside also. This statement will always get executed because it is independent of this if else condition. Now, what will be the output of the program? In this case, the value of the number variable is equals to 10, right? So 10 is greater than 0, which is the condition meets. So in this case, this piece of block will get executed, and line number 16 will get executed because it is because this block got executed and this condition is outside of the if else block. So this will execute it no matter what. So now if I go ahead and run this example as Java application, you will see this if block got executed. It is a positive number and this will get executed. Now if I go ahead and change this to, let's say, -2 here, okay? So now this became a negative number, -2. So now is -2 greater than 0? No. So this condition does not meet. So now this becomes a else block. In this case is going to get executed because the condition doesn't meet, and this line will get executed no matter what. So now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, you will see it is a negative number. So the else block got executed and line number 16 got executed. Now let's see if I change the value to 0, what happens? Okay, now in this case, this condition doesn't meet, right? So 0 greater than 0 false, right? So anything else will become this, I think else block is going to get executed because the condition doesn't meet. Let's go ahead and make sure we are correct. Yes. So this condition does not meet. Number is greater than 0. No, number is equals to 0. So in that case, the else block will get executed, and it'll say it is a negative number, but it's not a negative. So we have to go ahead and make sure if it is equals to greater than 0, then this if block, otherwise the else block. So in this case, number is equals to 0. This meets the condition now. So the if is going to get executed, and this line number will get executed. So now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, it is a positive number, and this statement will always get executed is going to be the output. Now the next thing we have is, let's say we wanted to calculate the if the number is an even number or if the number is a odd number. Okay, so what is the criteria for checking if the number is an even number or not? So if a number is divisible by 2, right? If the number is divisible by 2, that means it is an even number, and if the number is not divisible by 2, that means it's an odd number, right? So this is the criteria. So in Java, we have an operator called modulus operator. Now, what is the purpose of this modulus operator? It basically tells you the remainder, okay? That it will give you the remainder. So this is a division operator. If you want to divide something, this is what you do. It's a backslash, right? That's a division operator. I'm not talking about the division operator. I'm talking about the modulus operator, which is this percentage sign that you have. Okay, so what this does is this gives you the remainder. So if I say 5 modulus of 2, what will be the output in this case? The output in this case would be 1, because when you divide the number 5 by 2, the remainder comes out to be 1. So this is a modulus operator which gives you the remainder. So if I say 4 modulus of 2, the output is going to be 0. 7 modulus of 2, this is going to be 1. So in this case, 7 is what? 7 is an odd number because the remainder is not equals to 0. This is an even number, and this is also a odd number. So this is how you calculate the odd and even. So now if I go ahead and write an example here, and I will say, I can do another example and call it as even odd example. And it has a main method, and hit the finish. So now in this case, first thing is I'm going to define a number. Let's say the number is equals to 13. And I want to check if this number is great, is it an even number or a odd number? So the way to check is if the number modulus of 2, okay, if this is equals to 0, means it is divisible by 2. If that is equals to 0, then in this case, sys out, I can say even number. Else, if it is not, then in that case, it is going to be a odd number. So now 13, what will get printed on the screen? So 13 modulus of 2, the remainder is going to be 1 in this case, right? So this condition does not meet. So what will meet? Else will run. So in this case, 13 is an odd number. So if I go ahead and do run as, then what will get printed on the screen? Odd number will get printed on the screen. Okay, so this is what the odd number is going to get printed. Now, if I change this to, let's say, 12, now in this case, this becomes an even number because 12 modulus of 2 is equals to 0. It is divisible by 2. Let me save this and then do a run as. Now, in this case, even number will get printed on the screen. Okay, so this is what we are doing. We're checking if it's an even number or if it's an odd number. And if it is, this is very, very good operator. You will use this operator a lot of times in your programming. So remember that it is called modulus operator, and it has a sign of a percentage sign. Okay, so let's say if I give a number as 1251. Now this is not divisible by 2. It has a remainder of 1. So in this case, since it is going to be a odd number. So now I'm going to go ahead and do run as Java application. It's a odd number. Now, another thing I mentioned to you was, so instead of writing this whole thing, there's a very powerful operator which is called as ternary operator. Okay, this is called as the ternary operator. Now, what this ternary operator does is basically the same if else that you have written in 6 4 lines, you could have written with a single statement. Okay, so what you would have done, if number is modulus of 2 equals to 0, so this is the condition. Okay, this is the condition. Now, if this condition meets, then the first part, which is before this colon, that is the output. Otherwise, this becomes the output. Okay, so this is called as, this is the ternary operator. You can see here, there's a question mark here. You write the condition before the question mark. Okay, this is the condition. And if this condition meets, then whatever you have written, this is going to be the value for that. Otherwise, if the condition doesn't meet, then this becomes the output. So this is the if block, you can think, and this is the else block. Okay, so this is called as a ternary operator. This is to perform the task of if-else statement. It is a shorthand way, means it's a shortcut to check the condition. If the condition is true, the result of this is returned. But if the condition is false, the result of basically whatever you've written here, that is going to be returned. Okay, before the colon and after the colon. So this becomes the part of the if, this becomes part of the else. So this is called as a ternary operator. So we could have eased whatever we have written here. So how would I have done it? We could have just said simple thing, defined another variable, string output, okay, is equals to, now we are checking if the number modulus of 2 double equals to 0. We're checking if the condition. Now, if it is true, then in that case, there's going to be a question mark, even number. So this will become the value of output will be equals to even number, else, so this is our colon, otherwise odd number will be output. Okay, so what we are saying is number is modulus of 2. Okay, so 1251 modulus of 2 double equals to 0. That is false. Okay, so now in this case, false means output is going to be this value, right? So what will happen is if I go ahead and say sysout and print the value of output, what will get printed on the screen? Odd number. So if I go ahead and do run as Java application, odd number will get printed. If I have changed it to something like this, 444, now this becomes a even number because it is divisible by 2. So now in this case, output is equals to even number. Okay, so this is, we have is the even number will be put into the value of output. And now we are just displaying the value of output at line number 9. So there's another one we are going to talk about is the if-else if letter. Okay, so if let's say you are having multiple conditions to check. Okay, so that is when this if-else if ladder comes out very powerful. So let's say the question is if student has, you basically are giving a grade to the student. Okay, so the student grade will be decided based on his marks. And there are grades to give from A grade to D grade, okay, or a fail. So these are different grades. So now let's say if the student has, we're going to make sure if the student has scored less than 50, okay, in the exam, then he's failed. Okay, now if the student scores is greater than or equals to 50 and it is less than, okay, and it is less than 60, then in this case, we want to give the grade as D grade. Okay, so we're checking there are multiple conditions, okay, based on different. So in the case of if else, there's one condition. If the output is true, then the if block will get executed. Otherwise, the else block will get executed, right? But here, the if else if ladder will come out based if you have multiple conditions, and based on multiple conditions, we have different outputs. Okay, if the score is greater than 50 and less than 60, then we're going to give him a D grade. Then if it is if the score is equals or greater than 60 and less than 70, then in that case I will give him a C grade. Similarly, if the score is greater than equals to 70 and less than 80, then in that case I will give him a B grade. Okay, and if the score is greater than equals to 80, okay, and less than 90, then in that case I'm going to give him a grade. And if his score is greater than 90, okay, and then we're going to give him A++. So this is what the condition is. Okay, so these based on multiple conditions, that's what we're going to do is different grading. So that's when the if else if ladder is going to come handy. Okay, if there is multiple conditions and each condition means a different output. So similarly, in the real world, let's say based on, let's say you went to a shop and the shop is going to give you some discount, right? So if you have, and that is based on your sales. If your sales are between $1,000 to $2,000, then you might get a 5% discount. If your sales are between $2,000 to let's say $5,000, then you might get a 10% discount plus a coupon for the next purchase. Okay, so that's there. Then if your sales are greater than 5,000, then you might get a 15% coupon, Okay, so this is your based on what your condition is. You are giving them different discount. So somewhere like this in the business logic, you will use these ladders. Okay, based on what the business requirement is. So this is the if else if condition. So let's do an example, and in their example, this else block you have to make sure. Okay, if else if you have else means if the first condition doesn't meet, then only go to the next one. So at a time only one of this block is going to get executed. So let's go ahead and do another example here, and we'll call this as if else if example. Going to be a main and then finish. So now here the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to define marks. So this is going to be marks is equals to 65. Let's say this is the marks. Now we have multiple conditions. If the marks is less than 50, then in that case, what's going to happen is if it is less than 50, this dude is fail. Okay, that's going to be the answer. If the marks, so you have to write else if here. Okay, else if the first condition doesn't meet, and then we're checking the next condition. If the marks is greater than equals to 50, okay, if there is greater than equals to 50, and this is AND operator. Okay, AND operator means in order for this condition to be true, both the condition needs to be true. That is the AND operator. So I will tell you the difference between and OR. Okay, AND means only both if both the condition needs to be true in order for this to be true. In the case of OR operator, if one of the condition is true means it's a true condition. Okay, in the case of AND, when both of them are false, that will become false. Okay, um, and so basically in the case of AND, both of them needs to be true in order to become true, or means if one of the condition is also true, that will be true automatically. So this is the difference between and OR. So now here we are checking first condition marks needs to be less than equals to 50, and it is less than 60. If it is less than 60, then in this case he is going to get a D grade. Okay, so D grade he's going to get. Else if marks is greater than equals to 60, okay, and I'm doing an AND operator, and it also needs to be less than 70. In this case, what's going to be the grade? C grade. Okay, then the next one we have is else if marks is greater than equals to 70, okay, and make sure you're using the AND operator, and it also needs to be less than, both these conditions needs to be true in order to fall into this category. Okay, if one of the condition fails, then that condition does not meet. If marks is greater than equals to 70 and less than 80, then this dude has gotten B grade. Okay, so this is going to be B grade. The next one we have is else if marks is less than, sorry, greater than equals to 80, and okay, if marks is greater than equals to 80 and marks is less than 90, then he has scored A grade. So this is if else if ladder. We are checking based multiple conditions. Else if he has gotten greater than 90, okay, if he has gotten greater than 90, or we can say equals to 90, and he has scored less than 100, then in this case, it's going to be A++ grade. Okay. Else, if anything else happened besides this, means if somebody has scored 110, that's an invalid score, right? So in this case, if none of the condition meets, that's when this else block will get executed. Okay, so invalid. So now in this case, tell me what is going to be the output of this marks is equals to 65. Does this condition meet? Is 65 less than 50? No, this condition does not meet, so this is not going to get executed. Next condition is if marks is greater than equals to 50, yes, 65 is greater than 50, so this condition meets, and it is less than 60. No, it is greater than 60, right? So in this case, this condition does not meet, so this block is also not going to get executed. Okay, now the next one you're checking is the 65 one. Is marks greater than equals to 60? Yes, it is 65, so 65 is greater than 60. But is it less than 70? Yes, it is less than 70. So in this case, both the condition meets. So this is the block of code that will get executed. Okay, now if this block of code gets executed, now what is going to be the output? C grade is going to be the output of this. So what will get printed on the screen? C grade. So if I go ahead and do run as Java application, yep, he got a C grade because he falls into which category? He falls into this category. Now, if I have changed it to, let's say, 95, now what happens is 95 less than 50? No, it is not. So this condition does not meet. Is 95 greater than equals to 50? Yes, but it's not less than 60. So this condition also does not meet. Similarly, is marks greater than equals to 60? Yes, 95 is greater than 60. It is less than 70. No, this condition doesn't meet either. So this also doesn't get executed. The next one is this condition. Is it greater than 70? Yes, the first condition meets. Is less than 80? No, this also doesn't meet. Then it is this condition meets. Is greater than 80? Yes, this condition meets. But is less than 90? No. So he got a A++ because it is less than 100 and it is greater than 90. So it's 95 falls into this category. So what will get printed on the screen? A++. So now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, this is what will get printed on the screen, A++. Okay. Now if I go ahead and give a score of 195, so none of the condition meets. Okay, none of the condition meets. So in this case, what will be the output? Since none of the condition meets, this is the piece of code that will get executed, the else. Okay, if none of the condition meets, so whatever is remaining, which is in the else block, this is going to get executed. So now if I go ahead and do run as Java application, what will get printed on the screen? Invalid. So this is what we have as the if, else, if ladder. There is another thing that we have is called as the switch statements. Okay, switch statements, which is simple to write, but there's a condition. Okay, there you can only test for some values. Okay, so that is what the switch statement's going to be. So in the switch statement, you put a switch on a variable or an expression, and if let's say if the value meets, if that expression's value is one of these case values, then what that block of code will get executed. But you have to remember this break statement is also very important when you're writing your switch case statements. So I'll give you an example, but let's just, so this is a switch case statement. It is similar to writing an if else if ladder. Okay. Usually in your code, I have mostly used is a switch is the if else if ladder, but switch sometimes it comes out handy. Okay, but 80% of the time, we usually write if else if ladders, okay, if you have multiple conditions to test. But switch case is also a part of Java, so it's good to cover this. So here what we are doing is there's a switch on this variable expression. Okay, we are checking, let's say the variable expression value is, let's say we are checking what day of the week it is. Okay, and if it is, let's say, number 4, that means it falls into which category? It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Okay, so if the value is 1, then Monday will get printed. Let's say if the value is 2, then Tuesday 3, Wednesday 4, Thursday 5, Friday 6, Saturday, and 7 Sunday. Okay, this is what we have. Now is 4 lies into which? 4 is basically a Thursday, I think. So then the 4th condition means, so that case will get executed. But if you have not written the break statement, then whatever after those cases will also get printed. Okay, but if you've written a break statement after every case, that means only that case is going to get executed, and then it will come out of that switch case. Okay, otherwise, if you have not written a break statement, then whatever the case you have got executed and whatever is remaining after that, all those will get executed. So let me show you what do I mean. So let's go ahead and write a switch case statement. So let's go back here, class, switch case example, and finish. So in this case, I'm going to say I have an integer week is equals to, let's say, 4. Okay. Now I'm doing another variable here of the type string, and the variable value called name is day. Okay. Now I'm doing a switch on the week. So basically I am checking the value for the week. And if its value is 1, okay, so it has to match. If the case is equals to 1, then the day would be equals to, let's say, Monday. Now I'm going to write a break statement. And why I explained to you why did I write the break statement, but this is what we have. Okay, case, if it is 1, then day is equals to Monday. If it is 2, if the value of this week is equals to 2, then day is going to be Tuesday. And then I'm going to write a break statement. Then we have as case is equals to, if the value is 3, then day is equals to Wednesday. And break statement is going to be written so that it should come out of this switch case moment it encounters. If it doesn't encounter break, then it will keep going to the next statements. Case number 4, day is going to be Thursday and break. Similarly, case 5, day is going to be equals to Friday, and then it encounters a break statement. The last one, let's say case is equals to 6, day becomes Saturday. The value of it is, if this condition meets, so day is going to be Saturday and break. Okay, if that condition meets, come out of the case, switch case. Last one, 7. It's going to be day will be equals to Sunday. So what is happening here is, and then that's it, and break. Then there's a default also. Default means just like an else. If none of the criteria meets, if none of the conditions meets, then this is the default is going to get executed. And we'll call this as day is equals to wrong input. And that's it. Okay. You don't have to write a break statement after this, but it's fine. So now this is our switch case. And once it has went through the whole switch case, then I wanted to print the value of the day. Okay, so I can say the day is whatever the value that I have gotten. So in this case, what's happening is I have defined a variable week. Okay, and currently the value of the week is equals to 4. Now this week can be an expression. Okay, it can be 10 minus 2 plus 6. This is fine, but it has to result into some value. It can be an expression. It can be a direct value. Now, then once you get the value of the week, you're putting a switch on that. Means you're checking for this condition. And if one of these value meets, okay, what is the value of week is 4, right? Now, which condition meets? Case is equals to 1, no. Case 2, no. Case 3, no. Because this is basically, you can write it 1.1 as well. Okay, means if the, so it has to fall into one of these category. Okay, which week is going to meet here? Week is equals to 4. So this is the case that is going to get displayed. Okay, so which case? Case is equals to 4. This is the block which is going to get executed because 4 is equals to this case. We are checking what is the value against this. So case is equals to 4. So now here, day will be equals to Thursday. Now, moment it encountered break statement, it came out of this loop. It came out of this whole switch case. because it encountered break. If it didn't encounter the break, then what will happen is it'll keep going till the point it encountered the break statement. Okay, so now right now I am doing is I have a break statement after every case. So now if I go ahead and run, what is going to be the output on the screen? Go ahead and write to me. What do you think will be the output on this of this program? Write it in your chat window. Okay, so the output in this case is going to be, since the week is equals to 4, this condition meets. So day is equals to Thursday, and that's what the system.out is going to print. So now if I go ahead and run it as a Java application, I was right, day is Thursday because week value is 4, right? But now if I have missed this break statement, if I do not write the break statement, then what will happen is it'll keep executing the block of code. Okay, it'll keep executing. And so let's say if there was no break statement here, here, and here, and the break statement encountered was Sunday, even though the condition meet was at 4, which is Thursday, but then this block will get executed. Now the day becomes Friday. This will get executed because there is no break statement, and this will get executed. So the last value of the day is going to be Sunday. So that's what will get printed on the screen because it did not encounter the break statement. It'll keep executing. So if I go ahead and do run as Java application, the day is Sunday because you haven't not written the break statement. That's why. So till the point it writes the break statement, it encounters the break statement, it'll keep executing those piece of code. So that's why the value got printed was equals to Sunday. So this break statement is very, very important. Now, if I wrote something like 14, so in this case, week is equals to 14. Case 1, no, it doesn't meet the criteria. No, it doesn't meet the value. No, it doesn't. So there is none of the cases which meets the value 14. So this one will get executed default. Okay, this block of code will get executed. Now what's going to be the output? It will say the day is wrong input. So this is what the output is going to be. It says the day is wrong input because it did not meet the condition. Okay, now let's say if there was, I've changed it. It became 14. This became 16. This became 15. And I do have a break statement. Now what's going to happen is week is equals to 14. Which case criteria meets? This one. Okay, this criteria meets. So what will be the become? Day is equals to Thursday, but it encountered a break statement, so it will come right away out of the switch case. So what will get printed? Day is equals to Thursday is going to get printed on the screen. So now if I go ahead and run as Java application, the day is Thursday. Week is equals to 5. Okay, and I'm going to write a sys out. Okay, it's Monday. Okay, and then I don't have a break statement. I'm just going to go ahead and do it's Tuesday. No break statement. No break statement here. No break here. No break here. Let me just get rid of all this. Okay, no break. This is okay. So now here, case 3, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is Thursday. This is Friday. This is Saturday. It's Sunday. Wrong input. That's it. And now I'm going to get rid of this whole println because we're not displaying the value. And let me change this to 4, 5, and 6. That's it. Now tell me, what do you think will be the output of this program? Week is equals to 5. Now, what do you think will be the output of the program, guys? So which of the case will meet here? This one, because the value of week is equals to 5, case 5. This is the one that will get printed on the screen. It's Friday, but there is no break statement. So it will keep executing everything after it until the point it comes out of the switch case. So this will get printed on the screen. This will get printed on the screen. This will get printed on the screen. And what else will get printed on the screen? Even default is going to get printed on the screen. Everything after this is going to get printed on the screen, because it did not encounter any break statement. So the code is going to keep running till it encounters one. Okay, or if it didn't encounter, then it'll keep running till the end. So all this 5 condition, from the 5th condition, it'll keep going top to bottom. So now if I go ahead and run as Java application, you can see here Friday got printed, then it's Saturday got printed, it's Sunday got printed, and then the wrong input. But the moment I wrote down the break, okay, moment it encountered the break, okay, let's say we don't put the break here, but we put the break at line number, at this line. So now what will happen is it's Friday and it's Saturday. Only these two will get printed because break, it encountered the break statement. So only these two will be printed on the screen. So now if I do run as Java application, it's Friday and it's Saturday. So whenever you're writing a switch case, it is important you do not miss this break, because if you miss the break, it'll keep executing the rest of the cases. So let's say if I change the week is equals to 1, now what will get printed on the screen? So week is equals to 1, which case meets? This one meets. Ideally, it should stop here because this condition meets and that should be the output, correct? But it did not encounter the break. Nope, even this will get printed. This will also 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 get printed. Then it encountered the break. So it'll stop right here, but it'll print all these extra lines also, because the case which got executed was from here. So anything that you write after that, all of those will get printed until it encounters a break statement. Now, if I go ahead and run as Java application, it's Monday is going to get printed till the point it's encountered a break, and it encountered the break at this line. So after it printed Saturday, that's when it's going to get encountered. Okay. So this is how you write a switch case statement. Now this can be anything. Okay, I can have, let's say, the value of 101. Okay, and if I run a case here, this is 20, let's say this is 40, and let's say this is 101. Okay, so this is 101. Now, which of the case will meet? So week is equals to 101. So this case statement is going to get executed, which is this one. Okay, but there's no break, so even this will get printed. But if I've written a break statement after every switch case, which is the right way to do it. So here, if I write a break statement, make sure you do some indentation here. This is another break statement. And if none of the cases meet, this is the default condition. Okay, so this is the final else block, you can say. And then you have break here. So this is going to get executed. So now which week meets? This 101, this one. So it's Friday is going to get printed on the screen. Run as Java application, it's Friday. So this is going to get printed on the screen. So this is we have as the switch case example. So it's important to write the break statements. Okay, so you can see here, this is your expression. If it matches the case 1, then code block 1 will get executed. If it doesn't match the case 1, then it'll check for the next case. If that meets, then means the 6-second code block is going to get executed. If that doesn't meet, then it'll go to the third one. It'll check if that matches. If that, then this is going to get executed. If not, then the default, which you have written under the default, that will get executed. Okay. Now, we could not have done this marks example that we did earlier, which is this one, with the help of the case, because not this one, because it is not evaluating to a value, right? It is basically true false, right? So that's why this will not have been possible with the help of the switch case statement. When you know the output is a certain value, then you can write these cases. Okay, then you can write these cases and you can assign some value. But if the output is just true, false, then you can't write a switch case for that. It has to be test based on, okay, uh, let's say you're testing for can't think of an example right now, but yeah, if there's different conditions, but this each condition has a specific value, that means it is going to be that is going to be the case that will get executed, which matches this value. Okay, so you cannot just have a true false here, because then it is not going to match those conditions. So it is not good. There's no point of writing a switch case. But if each outcome is different and each outcome's value is different, then you can write specific case statements for that value, and you can test if which of the case matches, then that case is going to get executed. Okay, so this is what we have is about the switch case statements. Any questions so far, guys, on these things? Yes. So Ravi has a question. Can we write if-else code without the curly braces? So if you have one single piece of code to get executed, so I can go back here, and since there is only a single line after this, so I don't have to write these braces. I don't have to have these curly braces. Automatically, this will become part of this condition. This will become part of this. This will become part of this. So when there's only single line of code, then you do not need to have curly braces. But if you want to do multiple things in when one of the block if one of the if condition meets, then you have to write the curly braces. But otherwise, if there's only single line, then automatically the next line becomes part of the if block. Okay, so this code is going to get executed fine. If I put, let's say, a value of 55 here, then this block should get executed. Now, if I go ahead and do run as, now what's going to happen is he's going to get a D grade because this became automatically the part of this condition. Did I answer your question, Ravi? Okay, so Deeker has a symbol. Why do we use this? So this is a ternary operator. Okay, this is how you write a ternary operator. And the value for the ternary operator, basically it's a shorthand, means it's a shortcut of writing a condition. So you can see here, you have to write. So whatever you write before this question mark, that becomes your expression or the condition. And if that condition evaluates to true, then whatever you wrote after the question mark will become the value of that variable. Otherwise, if that expression comes out to be true, whatever you write after the colon, that becomes your else block. So this is how you have to write a ternary operator. Okay. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, so the next one that I had, I just wanted to give you, last time also mentioned, if you are interested, this is the course that I have, which is the Java course, which is available. Let me go ahead and just take you out there. It's a complete Java course. It's covering the similar materials that I'm teaching here. And it is going to be a drip feed content, means every week you're going to get some new content available. So not everything will be available up front to you. So every week you're going to see new videos going to get added. And this is the course that I have. It covers all the topics that we are going to cover in this class. Okay, so let me just go ahead, and if you're interested, I will highly encourage you guys to check out this course. It's a complete Java course for beginners. Okay, so whatever we are covering, we are going to get it. So here, let me write I have sent into as a message. And I'm also going to write a sticky message. So if you wanted to just click on that, you can take a look at it. Highly encourage you guys to check out. I've seen a lot of students in my last class have taken this course, and I hope you're enjoying it. So this was the, okay, so what does the args represent? So this, if you're talking about this, we haven't got into the detail of what is the main method, but once we talk about classes and functions and everything like that, then you're going to learn about this main method. One more thing I wanted to ask you, one last example I wanted to do was, what we have done is we have hard coded the values of these variables, right? Now, if you wanted to get an input from the user, that's when we have something called as a scanner class. Okay, so let me show you what does mean is if you wanted to get a input from the user, okay, rather than hard coding the value. So how we can do it? So we have something called as a scanner class. It is a class that is already given to you by Java. Okay, so you can use this scanner class to capture an input from the user. So let me go ahead and write a simple example for you here. We'll talk more in depth about this later, but let me go ahead and write a main method. I forgot to select that checkbox, public static void main. So this basically, this is the parameters to this main method. Okay, and this is where those scanner class will come into handy. So here I'm saying scanner my obj is equals to new of scanner. So whatever I am typing from my command or from my keyboard, this is going to be the input to the scanner. Okay, so this class, it is given to me by Java. So moment I write it, it's giving me an error because it's not able to find it. So I have to tell Java that, okay, import this class from this java.util. This is the right class that I'm talking about. So moment you do an import statement means you're importing the code. You're not writing this whole class of your own. You're just referring this class inside of your example so that if the Java wants to know where is this class written, it can go and find this class under this java.util package, and there's a class called scanner. Okay, and if you wanted to see how this class looks, you can actually go over here and just do control and go to open implementation. So it automatically, this class is available to you and it is given to you by Java itself. All you're using is you don't have to go and see what this class is doing and all that. This is just to show you an example, but this class is defined somewhere. All you're doing is you're using this class. Okay, so I'm saying creating an object of this class. This is the name of the class and this is how you create an object. Okay, this is the name for the object. This is using a new operator, you create the object and you're saying that, okay, whatever I'm going to input, that is going to be my input to the scanner. And I'm going to ask the user to enter your name. Okay, and whatever the user is going to enter. Okay, so I'm going to say my obj. So moment you enter something, you have to hit the enter on the keyboard. So and say next line. So moment it accepts the next line, all that input that I've entered, it is going to be stored in this variable called my name. Okay, and then sysout, I'll say my name is plus my name. This is as I mentioned to you, it's a case sensitive, so you have to be careful. So let's first see how this example works. So first thing is I'm going to do run as Java application, enter your name. So I'm going to enter something here, Deepika. Okay, Deepika Khanna. Now I will hit the enter on my keyboard. So I'm going to press the enter, and this is what the moment it intent, whatever you've written before that, it is going to be captured inside of this variable. And all I'm doing is I'm printing the value of this variable. So anytime you have to ask the user for his input, okay, that is what will be captured inside of the, you can use the scanner class, and then till it encounters the enter on your keypad, all that will be captured in this variable, and then I'm printing the value of this variable. Okay, so let me run it one more time here. Okay, enter your name. It's asking me to enter my name. So I'm going to say MyTutorialRack, right? So now I'll go ahead and press the enter keyword. And then once it entered, all that variable, all that value will be stored inside of this variable. And all I'm doing is I'm printing the value of this sysout. Okay, so Ravi is asking, what if marks 100 seems last condition we have to change? Yes, that's a good catch. I think if you go back to this example, if marks is equals to 100, then none of the condition meets. So it'll go to invalid. So yes, it is going to be greater than equals to 100. Okay, so now in this case, he'll get a A++ grade. So yes, good catch on the last condition. maybe the number of students we have is a lot of students, so that's why I'm missing out some of the chat messages. But one last example I'm going to do is this one, which is basically you can see here we'll make a simple calculator using a switch case. Okay, so and we will take the input from the user. So here I'm going to create a new class here, and I'll call this as a simple calculator, and I will take the inputs from the user. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and define. Let me get rid of all the extra junk. So here I'm going to say, first thing is I'm going to define a couple of variables, number 1 and number 2. So I'm going to define double. Double basically can allow decimal numbers. Okay. Then I'm using the scanner class. This is already a class which is available, and all I need to do is I just need to create an object of this, and I need to import this class. Means any class that you're referencing which is not yours, you have to import that class. Okay. And it will take whatever you're going to write through your keyboard, that's going to be the stream. It's giving me an error because I have not imported, so I'm going to do a quick fix here. Right click, quick fix. It's going to give me options. Okay, I'm going to pick up the first option. This class is available in different, the name of this class, it has scanner class is available in this package, all these packages, but we have to use what is available in the util package. That's the class I'm referring to. And with practice, you'll come to know, okay, which package to import, the right one. Okay. Now, the first one, we're going to go ahead and ask the user to enter the first number. So here I'm going to say sysout, enter first number. Let's say this is what I'm going to ask, enter first number, and then user is going to enter something, right? So whatever user is going to enter, I'm going to store in this variable scanner until it hears the next line, right? So scanner dot of next. So whatever he has entered will be converted into a double, and we're going to store in this variable. Similarly, I'm going to ask enter for the second number. Okay. So this is going to be second number the user is going to enter. Now, whatever he's going to enter, I'm going to store in this number 2 variable. So until every time you enter something, you have to hit your enter on the keyword. Okay, so that's when it will capture that value and put it into that second variable. And then we also need to capture the operator, right? So I'm going to say sysout, because either he wants to do addition, multiplication, etc. Right? So I'll say enter an operator. An operator can be what? It can be a plus symbol. Okay, it can be a minus symbol. It can be a multiplication symbol, or it can be a division symbol. So one of these values he's going to enter, okay? And whatever he's going to enter, I'm going to store in this variable called operator, okay? This is the variable I've created, and scanner dot of next, and whatever he's going to enter, okay, one second. Scanner dot next. So this is what the individual will enter, and then I'm going to select whatever he has entered at this index. Means whatever maybe is entered plus, minus, whatever he has entered, that value would be stored in this variable. And then I'm writing a switch on this operator. Okay, and if the user has entered what? If the user has entered plus in the operator, then what's going to happen? I'm going to go ahead and declare a variable as well to capture the result, right? So double is equals to result. And then if it entered plus, then result would be equals to num1 plus of num2. Okay, and then break. Second case, if the user has entered negative, okay, minus, then the result would be equals to num1 minus num2, and then break. If the user has entered, let's say, division, then result is equals to num1 divided by num2, and then break, because otherwise it will keep going, right? So case last one is the multiplication. If the user has entered multiply, then what's going to happen? Result is equals to num1 multiplied by num2 and then break. Okay. And then if he doesn't enter anything, okay, then or maybe a wrong value, if it doesn't meet any of this condition, then sys out entered input invalid num invalid value. Okay, this is going to get printed on the screen. I'm going to just write a break as well. So this is my switch case. And once I'm outside of the switch case, result is whatever that you have in the result. So what's going to happen is, let me go, there's an error in the program. Let's see what's the error. Have I closed the braces somewhere? Nope. Enter non-operator. This is the next number. Switch is on the operator. If the operator is equals to the result, yes. Okay. Break. This one break, and this is the end. Let me just. Oh, because we have not initialized it anywhere. That's why it is saying the default value. But let's see. I don't think it's a right. Proceed with the errors. Okay, variable has not been initialized. I'm just gonna go ahead and give some value. Okay, so just to avoid the error. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do run as Java application. Enter the first number. So I'm gonna say 10. This is my first number, and then I'm gonna hit the enter button. Now it's asking me enter the second number. So I'm gonna say 20. And then I'm going to do select a symbol, and I'll select the symbol as plus. So the output is 30. Okay. Now if I run this program again, it is asking me to enter the first number. So I'm going to say 70. Enter the second number, 2. Operator, multiplication. The output is going, and I'm going to enter, and the output is 140. So this is the scanner class. So if you want to take the input from the user, this is the class that you have to use. And this is exactly what you have to write. You have to create an object of this class. Now this class you have to import first. Otherwise your code is going to give you an error. So you're saying that, hey, whatever the user is entering through the keyboard, that's what my scanner class is going to use. So first line, it is going to say enter the first number, then user is going to enter. Whatever the user enters, that will be stored in this variable. Then it's going to get another prompt of entering your second number. Then whatever the user is going to enter, that is going to get converted into the double, and it will be stored into the second variable. Then another question will come for the user is to enter an operator. And he can enter a plus, minus, whatever. So whatever he entered, that will be stored in this variable. Okay, char at 0, basically you're converting into a character, and whatever the user has entered at the first character itself, that will be stored in the operator. Now we are doing a switch on this operator. So when it encounters this symbol plus, then this case will get executed. If the user has entered multiplication, then this case is going to get executed. If the user has entered a minus, then this is going to get executed. If division, then this was going to get executed. So one of those cases will run, and then if it is plus, then it'll add those two numbers, and then it's going to do break. The moment it encounters break, it will come to this line and it will print the value of result. So this is the last example for today. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, default code is like this. You just enter the colon, you write default, and whatever you write, that's the, so none of the condition meets, that's when this is going to get executed. So for example, if I run this program again, and here I enter my first number is 10, enter the second number as 100, and let's say I entered an invalid output, let's say brackets or 9. Okay, so this is an invalid, right? So it'll say enter the invalid value. Okay, so that's what the output, because the default got executed, which is this. Okay, so if you think the class is a little fast, go ahead and take that course because it will help you a lot to catch up with the speed. So this was just for today. And if the next time we'll talk about loops, basically for loop, while loop, do while, and then I'm going to take one step at a time. And if you have any questions, please email me at info@mytutorialrack.com. I hope you had a good, I hope you were able to understand. If you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to message me. I'm going to go ahead and log off now. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.